capital. Well, the Federation Council has also called for Russia to recall its ambassador from the US because of President Obama's aggressive rhetoric. Kana Chichkan has the details.
Moscow has not yet decided to withdraw the Russian ambassador to the U.S., but the Russian Federation Council, or the Russian Senate, and now we hear that also the lower house of the Russian parliament, that is the Russian Duma, are preparing to address President Putin with such a proposal. But also they're suggesting to call the ambassador back for consultations, and this does not mean, as the lawmakers say, a breakup of diplomatic relations. Now, whether or not President Putin will go through with this is not clear at the moment. There has been no U.S. reaction to this specific news about the possibility of withdrawal of the Russian ambassador. But the White House has stirred tensions on Friday when President Obama said Russia would pay if it interfered in Ukraine. Take a listen.
We are now deeply concerned by reports of military movements taken by the Russian Federation inside of Ukraine. The United States will stand with the international community in affirming that there will be costs for any military intervention in Ukraine.
President Obama had earlier said if Russia does intervene militarily, he would reconsider his trip to Russia in June for the G8 summit. This is clearly a new low in U.S.-Russia relations that have survived many storms in the past. What this one will bring is still in the fog. We know the UN Security Council is meeting this Saturday to discuss the situation in Ukraine. What's happened in Kiev with the armed takeover of power does not easily fit into the framework of international law. In fact, from a legal standpoint, it was a power grab. Of course, then people mix emotions, take sides, and call it different names. But for as long as there is no elected power in Ukraine, it's a volatile situation where people who do not agree with the takeover of power that took place in Kiev feel left out of the political process. So a lot for the UN Security Council to discuss. The U.S. is expected to use the UN Charter's territorial integrity principle to press Moscow not to intervene.